Dynasty roster reviews number 10, Ray Schick. Number 1, great name. That's a strong, powerful name for this powerful Dynasty team. We are on our 10th Dynasty roster review of the year. Really thankful to all those who have participated so far. For part 1 of this article, we're going to be looking at the positives of Ray Schick's 12 team. He has 27 players on his roster right now, but he's got to cut down to 21 after his rookie draft. So we're going to be looking at that, maybe decide some cuts, look at this full team, and make an evaluation of the strengths for this part 1. So here we go. Let's dive in. Number 1, let's start with quarterback. Beautiful. I'm in. We got 21 roster spots. We don't have a lot of roster spots to spare. We have a bunch of different starting positions here, so we don't really have a lot of room for depth. We have Tom Brady, pocket passer, really only been injured 1 year in his entire career, and, high floor, QB1 for 2022. I think this is just fine for a win now build. That's kind of what we're looking at here. If this team were younger, I would say, hey, maybe look to get off Brady and get a younger guy in there. But for this team, we're competing this year. We're trying to shift that window more towards 2022 and maybe 2023. And with this type of format, it should be very easy to get quarterbacks. So even the Jared Goffs of the world, a Mitch Trubisky, a Marcus Mariota, those guys are going to be really, really cheap in this format with these types of roster cut down requirements. We got 15 roster spots. We have 6 bench spots. That is heavy. So there isn't much room to have those 2 or 3 quarterbacks when you got 15 starting spots and 6 extra pieces. So one quarterback seems like the actual optimal build here. We'd always love to have Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, or Pat Mahomes here, or Josh Allen, but all things considered, maybe I try to get a Trevor Lawrence in there as a QB2, but again, each bench spot is very, very, very valuable. So something to think about there. So, Ray, I'm not telling you anything crazy when I say this is definitely a win now running back build here. Zach Moss hasn't exactly panned out. They brought in James Cook to Buffalo this year. Do like Keeney. Mark Ingram might be a good handcuff if Alvin does end up getting suspended. Saw the report last week that suggested he won't be. So we're in a pretty good spot here, but we're a little thin here. We do have to start 2 running backs. I have a feeling you'll be able to figure this out, especially with how the waiver wire is going to be constructed. And, once we sort of shift into the regular season, there will be guys to pick up on the waiver wire. This is sort of a first draft here. I would like to improve this. We do have a 3-round rookie draft, 107. Maybe you can sneak in Ken Walker. If you can snag Ken Walker, that'd be optimal with the 107. With the Rashad Penny starting news this year, could be a guy you could snag who would, really line up into a good range. But yeah, this is sort of a difficult depth chart to evaluate at this point. We really only have 1 starter, and Melvin is looking like the clear second back to Javonte. So there could be some ugly weeks early in 2022. Long term, this is obviously not going to favor us with this build. I think Ray obviously knows that. He talked about in his message to me, what to do with this sort of win now build, and some of these guys like Kamara and DeAndre Hopkins. It's a tough thing because this team is ready to win. I also want to throw out there, I talked to my buddy Mike Dempsey. I threw it out there. I said, hey, I'm not really an IDP guy, but this guy's roster What do you think of his setup here for IDP purposes? He said this was a 9 out of 10. Like, you have some of the best IDP players in the league between Derwin, Darius Leonard, and Buckner and Burns. You really have an amazing setup at IDP. So, knowing that you have one of the best IDP setups in the league, hold on. You're seeing a live edit. Let's go. All right. We don't need two sets of defensive ends that say the same thing, do we? No, we don't. All right. So, with the knowledge, armed, shout out to Mike Dempsey, that we have arguably the best set of IDPs in the league, that kind of gives a different tint to this team. We have a win now build. We're looking to win this year. So Hopkins and Godwin probably not going to be there the first month. Can we survive with this group? I think so. I think Jarvis Landry can actually be pretty valuable in this build. A guy like Corey Davis, who knows what Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson are going to look like early in the year. Hunter Renfrow, super high floor. Darnell Mooney, really nice young player there for the Bears. So I like this build. Maybe you can snag a wide receiver at 207, 307, kind of fill out this depth here, but ultimately it's going to be hard to keep more than a few of these guys, once we get past the rookie draft. So same thing with Keenan and Mark Ingram. Would love to hold Mark Ingram with Kamara, but, Zach Moss as well. With these starting requirements, we really don't have much room for error here. So this is a good setup for a win now build. Just understand, beyond Mooney and Godwin to an extent, we're looking at a pretty serious rebuild here in a couple years. I don't think we're going to be able to totally avoid the rebuild here. It may not be a full on, tank rebuild, but we could have a lean 2023 year if Brady retires, if Kamara, gets injured in 2022, or, maybe Hopkins isn't the same anymore when he comes back from suspension. If those kind of things all collide at once, we could be looking at a down year here. I know Ray has mentioned, I believe he's made the playoffs in 14 out of 17 years. So we're looking at 15 out of 18 with this one, but we got to be diligent with getting some nice young players here. So that 107 in the rookie veteran draft is going to be really, really important. Maybe it is Ken Walker. But if not, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, you can definitely add some nice pieces here. And if Hopkins does go down, you could be fine. So ultimately, I like this build for 2022. And I think, we're in a good spot. Especially late in the year. Godwin, Hopkins going to be out early in the year, but I think once we hit midseason, we really want to prime towards the end of the year anyway. So if we can survive with Mooney, Renfrow, and a few of these guys, we'll be looking good by the end of the year. And then Kyle Pitts, I talked about this last week. He's 100 in the Dynasty ratings, and there's not much to worry about with tight end. Probably don't need Tommy Tremble in this build. And honestly, Higbee might be a trade piece. Like, if Pitts is healthy in this build, there will probably be guys to pick up on the waiver wire. I don't know that we even need Higbee with this build. There's just so many starting spots and so few bench spots that I like what you did with Brady, and I might do that with Pitts here as well. You're going to be starting Pitts just about every week that you have him. Ray told me he did trade Dalvin Cook for Kyle Pitts. I love that play. Kyle Pitts is a nice way to get out of that Dalvin Cook investment, and you're locked into a mid to high end TE1 for the next 5 to 7 years, and you get off that Dalvin Cook investment. So All right, I think that's it. Again, great IDPs. Love the win now build. We know what we are here, which is really important for Dynasty. We know what we are, and I think we're going to be a strong contender for year one.